Save more than half price on Purdue fresh chicken leg quarters, only 99 cents per pound. For a healthy salad, Bermuda-grown green leaf lettuce, just $2.99 each. For a quick meal, Grace corned beef, only $3.49 for a 12-ounce tin. For a refreshing drink, Campbell's V8 Splash Drinks, just $4.79 for a 64-ounce bottle. 4-roll Scott Extra Soft Toilet Tissue, only $3.69. Visit our website at www.marketplace.bm for more weekly specials.
You can count on us.
Live from Bermuda Broadcasting, this is ZBM TV9 News.
Good evening, everyone. It's Tuesday, January the 17th, 2017. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us tonight. Well, it seems opposition leader David Burt is not buying into the Premier's call for a more amicable approach to debate in the House of Assembly. Speaking with Gary Moreno, Mr. Burt questions the Premier's sincerity in making the call based on what he says is Mr. Dunkley's questionable actions.
If the Premier wants that to happen, then it's up to the Premier to lead and to make sure that he and his parliamentary colleagues actually engage in that type of constructive dialogue, which is necessary and required to arrive at solutions which are the best for the country. But I think history has demonstrated, especially recent history, has demonstrated that the One Bermuda Alliance has no interest in consultation. The One Bermuda Alliance has no interest in trying to build consensus on ways forwards on difficult issues inside of our country. And Bermudians are suffering because of their lack of leadership.
What do you base that on?
Well, I can give you a very recent example when we're talking about the airport project, when we're talking in regards to the setting up of a panel to look at the airport project. There's two ways about going about it. You could go about it in the way that the government went, insofar as just appoints the panel, not telling anyone, not speaking to other people in advance, or you can go and say, or you can, as the government, saying that we want to find out a way that we can possibly come to a happy middle ground on this issue to address all the opposition's concerns that needs to be addressed, and to say, how about I'm setting up a panel, what are the things you think they should look at, what would satisfy you in making sure that when they present their information, that it's something that you can feel comfortable going to Parliament and having an informed discussion and vote in. But that's not the direction that the government has chosen to do.
Mr. Burt citing a number of recent situations to back up his claim that the Premier may not be genuine in his request.
We spoke about the situation with Reverend Tweed. There's a way about doing things, or there's a way not about doing things. And if you are aware that decisions of which you may take may cause a reaction, then it is your responsibility as a government to do your best to try to minimize that as much as possible. So, as I said, the Premier may like to say that we should have informed debate. I guess I could say one more thing. I mean, if the Premier is so much into informed debate, then why doesn't he ask his Minister of Finance to have a debate on the airport project? There have been numerous media organizations which have tried to organize a debate on the airport project, and the Minister of Finance has said he's not interested in debating. So I think that when the Premier says things, his actions and his government's actions should match his rhetoric, and right now they're not.
But isn't the House of Assembly the place where that debate should take place?
The House of Assembly is a place for debates on particular matters of bills, but we're not talking about the technical aspects of a bill. We're not talking about committee as to whether or not the I should be dotted, a T should be crossed, whether this should be in this clause or that clause. We're talking about the overall premise. And I think for something where it will bind the country for 30 years, I think that if we're talking about doing things better, if we're talking about doing things differently, if we're talking about moving our democracy forward, then I think the people of the country should expect our leaders and people to debate the issues. I mean, there's been numerous people that have been calling for it, but it's the government. I've indicated that I'll be more than willing at any point in time, but it doesn't seem like the Minister of Finance has the same inclination.
In other news this evening, the future of the troubled Nine Beaches Eco Resort in Sands back in the news today. Court bailiffs were due to enforce an eviction order on residents illegally living there on January the 6th, following a long-running dispute. But now there appears to be another problem with the former resort, the huge task of cleaning up the site, which this newsroom found to be in a deplorable state due to piles of litter and junk. When we visited yesterday, one Sands resident who regularly walks through the property calls the state of the property a nightmare. Speaking to Bermuda Broadcasting News, Felix Todd telling us there needs to be accountability for the site.
Well, what's really happened here is that we've had 86 cabins that have been built making the property. Those cabins along with the property, have just been abandoned. The whole place has become derelict. So this eco dream destination has turned essentially into an eco nightmare. There are now 86 ruins lying around. The land has been destroyed. And whoever destroyed this land needs to be held accountable. This land needs to be cleared and returned. I would love to see it returned to a park, to be honest.
Because the Bermuda Land Development Company is responsible for this land. Are you saying that the onus is on them to do something to fix it up?
Well, the original company was IRC Sandy's Limited, and those people who trumpeted the arrival of the Nine Beaches Resort have since vanished. I mean, the green that they cared about was clearly the green on the dollar. It's a disgusting, and it's a really shame to see what could be the jewel of Somerset has just been abandoned. This whole place is really disgusting now. It's an environmental disaster, as you can see behind me here. Well, there's smashed windows, smashed doors, so we're throwing glass into the ground, even getting this glass out of the ground and returning it to a place.
Mr. Todd, who is also an environmentalist, believes the former Nine Beaches property has immense potential to be turned into a successful tourist attraction. Meantime, the Bermuda Land Development Corporation, which owns the land in question, appears to be listening. In response to this story, BLDC CEO Francis Musselton telling us once the property is vacated, the BLDC will be able to thoroughly assess all of the buildings on the property and take the appropriate actions required. We will begin to market the property as soon as we can. Meanwhile, despite the BLDC's plan to evict those remaining residents by the first week of the month, there appeared to still be people living on the property as of yesterday. We'll stay abreast of today's news anytime by following us on Facebook under ZBM News 9. And you can now get in touch with Bermuda Broadcasting News on the phone messaging service WhatsApp. By using WhatsApp, you can share your stories and eyewitness accounts to us in a quick and easy way using audio, text messages, and images. Our WhatsApp number is 517-8579. That's 517-8579. Well, stay with us. We'll have more news and tonight's AccuWeather forecast after the break.
You can count on us.
Sweet and juicy clementines, only $9.99 for a 5-pound bag. New Zealand frozen whole lamb legs, just $4.99 per pound. Great for sandwiches, old-time split-top wheat bread, only $4.49. Select varieties of Arm & Hammer laundry detergent, just $9.99 for a 75-ounce bottle. Select varieties of Silk Pure almond milk, only $3.59 for a 32-ounce carton. All stores open Monday through Saturday until 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
If you're a runner, walker, dancer, or a worker on your feet all day and have pain or discomfort, we can help. The Bermuda Podiatry Center's Advanced Gait Analysis assesses the way you walk, run, and move, and will advise how to avoid future injuries with a tailor-made treatment plan. If pain is stopping you from doing the thing that you enjoy, visit the Bermuda Podiatry Center on Gorham Road. No referral required, and your appointment is covered by Major Medical. The Bermuda Podiatry Center. We're the Foot Doctors.
In court news, a man was remanded to drug treatment court for threatening to sexually assault a rehab supervisor's wife and daughter. Here's Jasmine Patterson with the details.
Appearing in magistrate's court, 50-year-old Stanley Davis pleaded guilty to uttering threatening words towards Harbourlight supervisor Rupert Jackson on November 28th last year. He further admits to behaving in a threatening manner by saying, "I'm going to hit you," and using threatening words in a public place on Victoria Street on the same date. The court heard Davis was expelled from the rehabilitation facility for breaches in policy, and around 6 that evening, Mr. Jackson found Davis using the gym, further instructing him to leave. The defendant responded, "You dirty Jamaican, I'm going to rape your daughter and your wife. I'm going to kill you, your wife, and your daughter." He then approached Mr. Jackson and said, "I'm going to hit you." Mr. Jackson then put a chair between himself and the defendant, then immediately reported the matter to police. Davis was later arrested at the Focus Treatment Center in St. George's. Prosecutors say Davis has a history of violence, burglary, and drug-related offenses dating back to 1983. However, this is the first offense of this nature. Apologizing to the court, Davis explained, "I take responsibility for my behavior. It was totally out of character. I'm definitely not a rapist." He added, "Instead of me just walking away, I made an irrational decision, reaching a rage state, and I chose to say things I regret." Magistrate Kamisi Takumba remanded the defendant to drug treatment court for sentencing on November 24th. Meanwhile, 31-year-old Ja'Kai Dillis and 33-year-old Dejon Smith, both of Southampton, were charged on indictment for intent to cause grievous bodily harm by wounding Delgado Pinto on June 13th in Warwick last year. Dillis is separately charged with unlawfully assaulting Mr. Pinto on the same date. They were not required to enter pleas as the matter must be heard in the Supreme Court. The pair were bailed in the amount of $7,000 each with a like surety and were ordered not to contact the complainant. Magistrate Tacumbo sent the matter to the March arraignment session in the Supreme Court. Jasmine Patterson reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
And turning to weather news, mostly cloudy with showers for the next few days. Here's the latest from AccuWeather headquarters.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
Tonight's forecast is brought to you by the BF&M Insurance Group. I'm AccuWeather's Shanae Shocker. Well, Bermuda is sitting in a kind of unusual area of high pressure. We're seeing a lot of clouds, and that's going to stick with us through tonight as well. We take a look off towards our west, and we're going to continue to see a cold front begin to develop and push in towards the region as we head towards our Wednesday night. Now, our satellite showing a lot of that cloud cover across much of the region, maybe just a couple of sprinkles in there as well. Our current conditions out on the waters, we're looking at our waves inside the reef. Just around 1 foot still, not much has changed from yesterday. Our winds relatively light out of the southwest, 6 to 10 knots, so our temperatures for tomorrow's high going to be increasing just slightly with that wind shift as well. Water temperature 67, waves outside 3 to 5 feet. We do have small craft advisory in effect for tomorrow night in through Thursday. Our current temperatures right now, we're in the low to mid 60s, 63 for St. George's, 63 in Hamilton, 64 out towards Somerset and Dockyard. As we head throughout tonight, we're looking at mostly cloudy conditions as well. So we'll see some of those stars, but overall we're going to be partly cloudy for tonight. Into tomorrow, increasing winds, and we're going to be building in that cloud cover as well. Still see some of that sunshine out there, but then as we head towards the latter half of our afternoon, that's when we'll start to see some of those showers with that next system beginning to approach. Out on the waters, as far as our tidal conditions go, our next high tide right around 12:20 tomorrow morning, and our second high tide right around 12:30. So our tides going to begin to increase as well with the approach of this front, as well as the increase in those winds. Here's a look at your extended outlook, or at your gateway forecast, We take a look out towards New York and into Boston. Area of low pressure that's developing, going to be our next system. That's bringing some wet weather in towards New York as well as Boston, and even some lower clouds. Now out towards Toronto, we do have a high of 42 and some lower cloud cover as well, and we're seeing a bit of sunshine return out towards Miami. Into the Central Caribbean, into Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad, spottier showers across the board. We continue to see just some cloudier, some cloud cover as well. The showers, not anything too strong. Here's a look going into our Wednesday night. This is when we start to see that wet weather return as well. We'll stay cloudy in through Friday, and then as we head towards our Saturday, we're going to see that wet weather return with a very weak front. So overall, it's going to be pretty calm from Saturday into Sunday, just a couple of showers possible. Now, windier conditions heading towards our Thursday as well, near gale force will be possible. Make sure to tune in to your radio stations, Ocean 89, Power 95, and Inspire 105 to stay up to date with all of your weather updates.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
If you're looking for extra savings and free benefits
With car insurance
and home insurance,
Colonial has just the cover you need.
there's a free $250 gift voucher for new home insurance customers too, and 10% car insurance discount if you have home insurance.
With a claim service that's quick and friendly,
We call it Cover Without Added Costs.
call for a quote on 296-3700 or visit cgigroup.com.
Colonial, where people come first.
Every day, a tsunami hits Bermuda. A tidal wave of information and images floods our phones, laptops, and tablets. We're awash in emails, posts, tweets, blogs, texts. As an advertiser, your message can easily get drowned out. Time to reach for the life raft. Technology changed the game, but television and radio still lead the way. Who doesn't have an all-time favorite TV ad?
Aflac, where's the beef? You can count on us.
The man, your man could smell it.
TV remains the most powerful advertising tool in the world. For immediacy and engagement, you can't beat radio. Here at Bermuda Broadcasting, we can help you reach thousands of people at the same time. You might have a new small business or run a corporation. We can customize ads to help you build awareness and attract new customers. TV and radio advertising gets results. Call me, Diane Brewer, and I'll show you how. Now here's Mike Sharp with highlights from the Front Street Mile.
Front Street was the center of attention recently with 11 KPMG mile races, including 5 waves in the Triangle Challenge. The first woman to win an Olympic marathon medal, Joan Benoit Samuelson, took part in the Half Triangle Challenge. And there was a moment of silence for former sports ambassador Philip Gouchard, who passed away late last year. One of Bermuda's most talented all-round athletes, Ashley Irby of Saltas, was the clear-cut favorite in the secondary girls race. She hit the tape after leading from start to finish in 5:32, with Brianna Mendaz 15 seconds later and Michaela Utterbridge third in 5:51. Here's what Irby had to say.
I was trying to start off fast enough, like I didn't want to get caught up behind people. I didn't want to start slow enough, so I would have to catch up. So I tried to go out fast.
Yeah. Your time a few seconds slower than last year.
Yes. I was looking for a personal best, but it was okay.
Yeah. What about these conditions? What was it like out there running tonight with the weather?
The weather was much better. There wasn't wind, no rain, so that was good.
Great. Congratulations, you just recently qualified for Carifta.
Yes, thank you.
In the secondary boys mile, the pocket rocket Ryan Otterbridge, Akeem Johnson, and Isaiah Tucker were the ones to watch. But in the end, John Dell Cumberbatch snatched the gold medal in a time of 4 minutes 57 seconds, with Robert Edwards second in 5:03 and Isaiah Bell Phillips third in 5:06. Cumberbatch reflects on his win.
Oh, since this is my first Front Street Mile, this will be my first Front Street Mile win representing Saltas.
Describe the race for us.
I tried my best to stay at the front of the pack and to not fall behind because I knew it would be too hard to catch up. So I stayed at the front, and when everyone else started to push it, I decided to go faster and keep my pace coming down the back stretch.
All right. So you were aware that they were there?
Yeah, I was. Had to keep them on my back, so I knew where they were.
The adult female mile was a 2-horse race between Gail Lindsay and Jennifer Allen, with Dion Breary giving an outside chance. When it was all said and done, Allen grabbed the goal in 5:26, with Lindsay a close second in 5:27. Breary was third in 5:42. Allen summed up the win and her plans for 2017.
I mean, that was my main focus, to come out and win today. Obviously, I came into this running the fastest time in the trials, but you never know what anybody's been doing in training, and I was just lucky to sort of stay injury-free and manage to stick with it.
So the strategy was between you and Gail, was she?
Yeah, she was going to be the main competition, I believe, from tonight. But Dion was really pushing the pace heading down, so I was just trying to stay ahead as best I could, and that was the plan, just to stay ahead and put on a good finish.
And what are your plans for 2017?
So my next focus is a half marathon in New York in March, so I'll be focusing on that now.
So that is a stepping stone towards May, Bermuda?
Possibly. I might do May 24th. I'll see how the run goes in March and then take it from there.
Congratulations on your win again.
Thank you.
In the adult men's race, Koya Tito Smith timed his sprint to the finish line perfectly and outkicked the flying policeman Stephen Allen to win in a time of 4:56. Allen was clocked in 4:58 and Christopher Hands third in 5:01. And now the elite ladies, specially invited runners from overseas. Runners flew in from the United States, Panama, Britain, and Trinidad and Tobago. 4 minutes and 49 seconds after the starting gun, American Christina Cazzola claimed victory ahead of Dana Mika, also of the U.S., while Rolanda Bell of Panama was third in 4:56. Casola described the dash for cash.
Christina, what a race, huh?
It was a great race and great competition.
The time, you were happy with that?
I'm happy with the time. It was under 450, and the course record's 444, and that's a pretty hard record to even come close to, so I felt like it was an okay time for this type of course.
How much did those 2 hairpin turns affect you?
Well, you definitely have to plan for them and make it tactical on a course like this. It's not only the hairpin turns, it's also the incline and decline of the course, and so I think if you plan for that and you're really strategic about how you race it, you can do well.
And now, the race of the night, the elite men, where there is a $10,000 bonus to go under 4 minutes. 29-year-old Ethiopian Deriba Yagizu timed his sprint in the last 150 meters perfectly to win in 4:08, followed by American Ford Palmer in 4:10 and Travis Mahoney in 4:11. Deriba was not happy with his time. He said he has run sub 4 minutes often.
Yeah, the race is very nice. I know I'm prepared ready for this race. Like 2 months ago, I was training in Bermuda with my friend. The people who are training with them is very high runners. They could participate in the Olympic races. So, but in a mile, only I have a natural speed. I didn't work a speed on it. I work on my training on 10K and a half marathon with my friends. So this race is good because I know before I come. This is the third time. Yeah, this is the third time for me. So I know where place is difficult, where place is good. Because I run 3 places. I did. The one is 354. The one is 357. The one is also 356. But the one is, it is very hard to get under 4. But it's okay, I'm fine because I'm win.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
And coming back to defend your title next year?
Next year I will. I will.
And I'm Mike Sharp with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Hey Smokey, let's get lunch from the Marketplace Food Court.
You know what? That sounds good.
They have oxtails, pumpkin, curried lamb, lemon chicken, sweet and sour ribs, vegetable stir fry, and the variety goes on.
Their chefs are good. They'll set you right up with all the good carbons.
And don't forget the special dishes from the islands.
It don't matter. No matter what you feel like eating, Marketplace will have it.
You know, it's quick, it's quality, and at prices you can count on.
Visit us 7 days a week. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Made for you daily at the Hamilton Marketplace Food Court.
Bermuda Broadcasting Company is pleased to inform our viewers Community Calendar will now appear on television. We are now providing Community Calendar 30 and 60-second television ads on ZFB TV7 at a special rate. You will have the opportunity to showcase your ad either 6:58, 7:58, or 8:58 p.m. Monday through Friday, a minimum of 7 days. For more information, please contact our Sales and Marketing Department at 295-2828.
Police are calling for witnesses who have not already come forward over a road accident on North Shore involving a senior citizen to telephone 295-0011. The incident happened last night at around 11 o'clock in Pembroke near the junction with Bandroom Lane. It appears that a male motorcyclist traveling along North Shore Road struck a female pedestrian as she attempted to cross the road from the nearby bus lay-by. Both the rider, believed to be a 33-year-old Southampton man, and the pedestrian, believed to be a 68-year-old Pembroke woman, were treated at the scene before being transported to the hospital by ambulance for further medical assessment. At last check this morning, the injured pedestrian had been discharged while the injured motorcyclist was awaiting admission to a general ward. Elsewhere, detectives are looking for the person responsible for a burglary at the Parks Department located in the Botanical Gardens in Paget. Police received a report at around 9 a.m. on Monday that sometime during the weekend, an unknown culprit broke into a locked storage shed and stole power tools, believed to be 2 hedge trimmers, 1 weed whacker, 1 extended pole saw, and 1 blower. Members of the public are advised to be wary of anyone attempting to sell similar outdoor power tools, especially for a reduced price. Anyone with information should telephone the main police telephone number on 295-0011. In other news, big news out of the UK today. Prime Minister Theresa May has said the UK will not remain in the European Union's single market, as staying in would mean not leaving the EU at all. Analysts say her stunning announcement signals that she will be pursuing a hard Brexit when she does trigger Article 50 in March, which would formally start Britain's negotiation to exit the EU. The PM promised to push for the freest possible trade with European countries and warned the EU that to try to punish the UK would be an act of calamitous self-harm. She also said Parliament would vote on the final deal that is agreed. The opposition Labour Party warned of enormous dangers in the Prime Minister's plans, and the European Parliament's lead negotiator said there could be no cherry-picking by the UK. In the talks, Mrs. May used her much-anticipated speech to announce her priorities for Brexit negotiations, including maintaining the common travel area between the UK and Irish Republic and control of migration between the UK and the EU. And recapping our lead stories tonight, opposition leader David Byrd not buying into the Premier's call for a more amicable approach to debate in the House of Assembly. Speaking with Gary Moreno, Mr. Byrd questions the Premier's sincerity in making the call. Meanwhile, the future of the troubled beaches eco resort and sands back in the news today. There appears to be another problem with the former resort, the huge task of cleaning up the site, which this newsroom found to be in a deplorable state due to piles of litter and junk when we visited yesterday. One sands resident who regularly walks through the property calls the state of the property a nightmare. And a man has been remanded to drug treatment court for admitting to threatening to rape the daughter of the wife of his supervisor. And that's our newscast for tonight. I'm Diane Brewer. Thanks for sharing your Tuesday evening with us, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.